like you said, it just makes life easy. Yeah. And that's what you want for your kids also, to not struggle. So maybe it's a little bit of an extra struggle when you're, raising your kids, because they can't just do anything, and you have to, like.
Well, it's a struggle for the parents, yeah. But if they're good parents and they've got a good relationship with the kids, then that's another whole thing again. The kids, they do things because of the relationship. They don't hate you, and they don't want to throw you away and rebel against you. It's like, yeah, we're a unit. Like back to at night, what did you do? You sat around and played board games. And so the bond, the unit was very tight, So when Dad said, don't do that, you respected him, and he's my dad, and I don't want to argue with him and get, in a whole other mood. And yeah, okay. All right, Ruben, Haribo, here we are by the lake.
Yeah, not in the forest anymore.
Not in the forest, kind of in the forest.
Yeah, we are kind of in the forest.
By a lake. Very nice, serene setting. So
yeah,
that's nice.
As serene as you get. No, it's nice.
Yeah.
But you always have.
Yeah, it's lucky that this place is still left like this.
Mm-hmm.
Less and less. The animals feel it first. You drive them out of their habitat because you cut all the trees down.
Oh, the animals feel it first.
Drive, make highways through their place, and pretty soon they're getting killed by trucks and cars. And
exactly.
Their breeding migration routes are completely disturbed. And
people don't think about that. All the highways that you create, they only got like a small little space. Then they've got much more difficult to move across the greater regions or bigger regions, because
and the animals don't know. What's happening?
Yeah.
They have no idea. Lord Man, has come to take over. Never mind how many people it disturbs.
And in the end, it doesn't even make us happy. So it's a futile. We're destroying the life of others, and we're destroying the life of ourselves.
Yeah. In the name of progress, we're going backwards. Fast. Yeah. The more progressive we come, the faster we go backwards. Because this material progress is a backward direction.
Yeah. I know.
People think they have to have it. It has to get better and better. Interesting topic. We're just coming up with things, but I was just talking to a lady this past weekend at our retreat, and she works as a nurse in a neurological surgery office. And their main surgeries are brain surgeries for brain cancer. Mm-hmm. And so I asked her, are you seeing an increase in brain cancers? And she said, unbelievable. She said, everywhere from young people to very old people, across the whole spectrum, increase in brain cancers.
Wow.
And of course, as we all know, brain cancer is not a good diagnosis, and most people die from it. So, and then I said, yeah, all this, cell phones and 5G and all this. And she's going, yeah, because before, how many young people got brain cancer? Almost nobody.
No.
It didn't even exist. And brain cancer in general was very, very rare. And now, as she said, she's working right there. It's just increasing. So in the name of progress, we're destroying everything. That doesn't even count the mind and the consciousness that the cell phones destroy.
That's true.
The social media and all that.
That's true.
That's just the physical aspect. And another friend of mine in Canada, she had just been diagnosed with intestinal cancer.
Mm-hmm.
colon cancer.
Mm.
And she just made the connection that right where she's got the cancer,
That's where she got
carried
the
her cell phone all the time in this sweater she wears, and it's got a pocket right there. And exactly where that cell phone is where the cancer is. You know, and it just goes on and on. But we have to have it. You know, if you told everybody now throw away your phone, you get deaths by suicide.
No.
You get death from all kinds of trauma and stress and heart attacks. People can't live without them.
That's funny. We didn't used to have them. So obviously something's changed. So do we really need to have them? I mean,
Dependency has grown out of it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
No, I mean, life was great. We didn't have cell phones.
No.
We didn't hardly have phones, you know. And I didn't see anybody suffering because of it.
No.
You know, people were much more free to just live their life,
Yeah.
not being addicted to, and teachers didn't have to struggle with kids being on their phones and, you know, the disrespect and everything that's evolved out of this whole thing.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of one good thing coming from this technology. You can say, oh, but we can communicate. But we were all communicating before in our own ways. The world was smaller. But do we need to be in touch with every single person on the planet all the time?
We probably communicated better because maybe we communicated with fewer people, but more deeply.
You had to talk to people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And, you know, I remember before TV.
Mm-hmm.
And at night, you either went to bed or you stayed up with the family and you played board games or card games. And
exactly.
You just associate. Nobody just went to their little corner with their phone or sat in the TV and just, you know, zombied out for hours and then went to bed. Yeah. And people went to bed when it was time to go to bed because of why not? What else is it?
Yeah, exactly.
There was no late night show and late night show. And,
no.
You know.
And you've had a nice long evening talking and sharing stories.
And families were much closer. You knew each other, you know. And now families are just so separated and destroyed.
Yeah, and then
so the family unit is also disappearing.
Exactly. And then you have kids who are not properly educated or properly brought up in a family unit where it should be based on care and that the parents really like know about your life and you talk about it and you instruct them and you give them moral support and you know.
And also parents were the authority. I mean, they taught their children principles, values, morality, you know, spirituality to the degree that they had it, but a lot of them had it.
Yeah.
A lot of people in that era saw correctly, you know, and no, that's not good to do that because it's going to degrade you. They didn't say maybe the same words, but, you know, no. And so kids grew up knowing, okay, I shouldn't do that. And so they didn't do it. You know, they had training and they went to church and they read the Bible at night. That's another activity that went on at night, you know, and the families that were more oriented in that direction, you know, usually the father sat around and read the Bible to the family. So it was like very nice, you know, get up early and et cetera, et cetera.
Huh.
So anyway, we're reaping the fruit of all of this now, more and more, from the cancers of the brain to the disrespect of the kids to, you know, the no reason to live, feeling hopeless and lonely in teenage years and committing suicide and whatever. I mean, show me the good. The point is, show me the good in the long run. And you can come up with all your technical, you know, answers. Oh, but we can do this, but do we need to do it?
Yeah,
we can do it, but should we do it? And the answer is no. I mean, in the Vedic times, they didn't have any of that technology, and people were very spiritually evolved.
Yeah. It's like I just there's several thoughts in my head, but just like you're so good at, like telling stories. I think that's something that we've I don't know if this is from your like experience from before, but I'm not that good at telling stories. Maybe it's because I'm not used to it also, because I'm the TV generation and the internet generation.
Well, again, when I grew up, that's what, again, you did at night.
Yeah.
I mean, storytelling was just part of the culture.
And it's so nice.
Yeah. So Dad would tell his stories, and you'd listen. Oh, when I was young, I did this, and it was exciting. And you just went, wow, really? And Dad became more of a hero because the more stories he told, we did this, and I went, wow. And he's just higher up on the list of my heroes.
Oh yeah, wow.
I want to be like that. There was the feeling, I want to be like my dad.
So it should be.
It should be. That's the design. I mean, like the Vedic, hierarchy that came down, the dynasties and so on. The sons grew up and took the position of the dad because they became like the dad in character and knowledge and compassion and ability to rule, with softness, but at the same time hard when they needed to. And the kids, they saw that, and they became like that. And then they raised their kids like that. Gentlemen. See, I was raised to be a gentleman. And there was all kind of rules that went with gentlemanness.
And gentleman is a good word.
Gentleman. Yeah. And we were taught so many correct things to do in relation to women and females, girls, women. We respect them. You open the door for them. You treat them nice. Ladies first, whatever it was, to go through the door first, or, to get the first, attention or whatever. And my dad, it was from the era where when he met a woman on the street, not just him, but men, they mostly wore hats, not ball caps, but hats, with a brim. And he'd tip his hat. We meet a woman.
The men would,
Men, he'd tip the hat. Madam? And it was not like he had to do it. It's just what you did. You were gentle to women. You were gentle to everybody. And it just felt good.
Just what's the core value that is instilled, or what's the core value in the gentleman, or in your upbringing? You said you were brought up to be a gentleman. What's the main teaching then? What was the main point?
The rules, the ladies first, but I think it came from the core value of respect. And we were taught, respect your elders. Kids' position was, what was it? Don't, to be seen but not heard. That was the kids' position. To be seen but not heard. Don't, just, and when adults were talking, the kids were respectful. And if they were going to, go outside and play. And they went outside, but they didn't just come barging in and take over and the whole room and run around and be No, it wasn't allowed.
No.
You couldn't do it.
No.
You couldn't do it because nobody allowed you to do it.
No.
Now people just turn a blind eye and kids just run rampant and scream and holler and just destroy everything.
And just on that point, I have to mention this because Lynn was listening to one of our friends speaking about upbringing and how to stop kids from screaming. And she said what you can do. I don't know if you heard about that trick. Like you have 3 tickets and you make it very clear to the kid that, so if he screams, we're going to take away one of the tickets. And in every day you have 3 tickets. And if you use up all your tickets, then I don't know there's a consequence. For example, you have to go to bed at 7, or you have to stay in your room for the next day, or there's a consequence. And it's not a punishment. It's just the kids know. And if the kid screams, you're not angry. You're not like, oh, why did you? Oh, I'm going to take away your ticket. You just, okay. So the consequence is, I'm taking away one of your tickets. You've got 2 left today. And then, they learn there's a consequence for my actions. So that's a practical advice that I thought was nice.
And another point when I grew up is that not only your parents were controlling you, but every adult was your parent.
That's important.
Like if the mom and dad didn't do it, somebody else would step in and do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you had the whole adult population controlling you, not just mom and dad, which maybe you can manipulate and, get away with this and that and the other. But you can't get away with Miss Smith over here. She's stern and she doesn't put up with that stuff. And so
because she's not got like soft heart and bleedy heart because it's not her kids, so she can be more.
And or the parents would actually be looked down in society if they didn't control their kids. If they didn't raise their kids right, they also got chastised by society, either directly or indirectly. You don't know how to raise your kids. Why don't you raise your kids right?
Yeah.
And so the shame came from not only, this and that, but from many, many places.
And that can be a good thing. It's not...
And it was a good thing.
Shame today is seen as a bad thing.
There was no bad. It turned out really good for everybody.
Yeah.
And so, wow. I was just talking to my daughter, and she was telling me that she was just in Australia, and her half-brother he's got 2 kids. And so they're 4 and 6, maybe, somewhere in that area. And so she said, but they're so well-mannered kids, And she said, like, we went somewhere and I bought them an ice cream. And so they were eating it, and the dad said, okay, that's enough. And it was candy maybe, not ice cream, because that was more like candy or something, cookies. Anyway, he said, okay, that's enough. Put it away now. And they just didn't argue and sneak. They just put it away.
Really?
She said just everything. They were so well-mannered. And she was very impressed because that's rare.
And hearing that, the natural first reaction to a person, I think, is, well, they were born like that. They were really fortunate to have such kids into their family.
No.
But I doubt it.
They're very rare they're born like that. They're trained like that.
Yes.
They're trained. And it's very rare. So she said that, he's a very good father. I mean, he plays with the kids. He gives them a lot of attention. He gives them a lot of love. But at the same time, he puts boundaries in, and he's the authority.
Yeah.
And when he speaks, they listen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean...
So there needs to be this. Because what we got now is just such a mess.
It is.
But again, with all these broken homes, it makes it much more difficult to implement as well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, kids, by design, the divine arrangement is a mother and a father. A child is raised by a mother and a father. And each have their position. The father has his authoritative position, and the mother has her motherly position in caring and all of that. The softness and soft but hard when necessary. And they have to be on the same page.
Oh, yeah.
They have to both be a front to the kid.
Exactly, yeah.
When the kid he can't play one off the other because he knows, well, mom let me do this, but dad won't. So he plays off of mom.
Yeah. Kids are smart.
It's just like one says, 2 say at the same time. Yeah. It's the same from both sides.
If mom said it, then
it's the same, And so it was not unique. That's how it was done, and that's how it's been done in societies. And we left all that.
Yeah. Yeah, and no, just that how important it is and how rare it is today to have an adult just I mean, that understands the importance of authority, and especially, I mean, maybe young adults that haven't been raised with that, like, which is like the most, maybe one of the most important points when you come to spiritual life. You don't have to, but if you want to be successful, an important step is realizing that maybe someone knows more than me, and authority, and so I'm just thinking about that. It started from the rot, let's put it like that, started from the lack of authority within the family, and the upbringing, and then it just spreads.
Like when I grew up, my parents were authority, my grandparents, everybody, like I was just saying, was an authority. You went to church, the preacher was the authority, and you listened, you sat there, you weren't maybe that interested when you're young, but you sat there just like, quiet the whole time that the sermon went on, and if you didn't, you would not do well. But it wasn't like you really wanted to make a ruckus, but you didn't. It's just like you just understood. I go here. This is what we do. This is the conduct. Anyway, so I grew up with that kind of understanding of authority, the teachers and everybody. So when I went to the military, I had no problem. Because I was used to that. Somebody telling you what to do, somebody telling you can't do this or you must do this, and I just, okay, I didn't do this, I did this. But there was a lot of guys in boot camp especially that came from the other non-authoritative background, and they had a really hard time. And they are the ones who always got punished and always got yelled at and always had to do the extra everything, And so, it was just, military life for me was really easy. And then I went from there to spiritual life.
Yeah.
And so when, you had all this spiritual teaching and authority and the spiritual master and the rules and again, it was just like nothing.
And by the way, those guys in the military that didn't have authority and that were bad at listening, that's me. When I came to the military service, it was very. But I was fortunate to be in a more independent sort of job or region, or not how to put it. We were snipers or mountain rangers, and my particular field was sniper. So you have a lot of independence within your field. So,
but in the beginning, in the boot camp stage,
that's
where
difficult.
They're training you up very fast.
No,
then
difficult.
Yeah, you had no authority. No. You were just like.
But yeah,
but it makes it so you can go through life easily. This is the point.
Exactly.
You can go, if you got the right foundation, then the rest of your life is very different. It's easy. It's struggling with what?
That's true.
Unless you see the authorities just wacko and you're not going to accept it because this is not real authority. Then I'm not saying just become a pawn to everybody that wants to move you around. No. But, then you become an authority against the fake authority, the pseudo teaching and so on.
Yeah.
So, so life is meant to be learned how to live it correctly from the beginning. So if one is fortunate to be born in a spiritual setting and they learn that along with the other things that we refer to, then that's extremely fortunate. Mm-hmm. So when I heard that God's the authority and Jesus is the authority, it just fit right in with everything else.
Because you were born in a Christian family, so that was also
Yeah. So I had no struggle against any of that.
Yeah.
So it makes life easy.
That's true. I like you said, it just makes life easy. Yeah. And that's what you want for your kids also, to not struggle. So maybe it's a little bit of an extra struggle when you're raising your kids, because they can't just do anything, and you have to
Well, it's a struggle for the parents. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But if they're good parents and they've got a good relationship with the kids, then that's another whole thing again. The kids, they do things because of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They don't hate you, and they don't want to throw you away and rebel against you. It's like, yeah, we're a unit. Like back to at night, what did you do? You sat around and played board games. And so the bond, the unit was very tight.
Yeah.
So when Dad said, don't do that, you respected him, and he's my dad, and I don't want to argue with him and get in a whole other mood. And okay,
because it's all based on. I mean, in Christian teachings, is based on sin. I mean, to some part, but we could it's based on, which is true, but we could more. I mean, put it in the terms of that, just certain things are not conducive to you, and we have been conditioned in a way. We are in the material world, so we have certain material conditions or conditionings that are not going to take us in a good direction. So just following your desires or following your mind is not always, usually not a good thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you understand that there are certain things that are, there's just got to be a compass, a moral compass, a direction. Doing whatever I feel like isn't a good thing. There's got to be rules and a direction and morals
and all rules, if they're good rules, are for our benefit.
Yeah.
They're not the punishment. They're not to take us away.
Exactly.
They're to make us better, to help us, to protect us.
Which is the point of the word sin. It's the same. It's just that those things are not helpful for you. They're not going to take you in a good direction.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. And back to the parents, in the Bible it says, honor thy father and thy mother, that their days on earth shall be long.
That the day on their...
That your days on this earth shall be long.
Oh.
You'll live a long time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's in the Bible. Honor thy father and the mother. And outside of that authority comes like the police. Again, there's always going to be criminals. Or there's going to be people that kind of just want to break the law. But I can tell you, they were seen as an authority. And somebody says, I'm going to call the police. Okay, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like they there's no respect for anybody. I'll call the police. I'll shoot them. Bring them on. And so police get killed all the time now.
Yeah.
Just for no reason. Sometimes in allocations, but sometimes they just stop a guy for speeding and he shoots them as they walk up to the car.
But that's the thing. That's the disease. And I'm speaking about the conditioning. We're conditioned. We want to be the authority, and we need to contain that. We need to work with that. We need to. We can't just let it run wild, because that's where it'll go. That's the direction it'll go.
Yeah, you can't let anything run wild, or it just goes wild. It goes crazy.
Yeah.
So, so our teachings they cover all that. I mean, if you follow this Bhakti teaching, it's all built into that teaching. All the things we've referred to is just built in, like Lord Gauranga's third prayer, offer all respects to others and expect none for yourself. Well, if everybody followed that, you'd be respecting. And that didn't mean just humans. That means all life forms. Respect the animals. Respect the plants. Respect the planet. Respect. It's either there or it isn't. You can't respect this and not that. It's not selective. It's like, okay, I respect everything. I may not agree with everything, but I respect your opinion to have that opinion.
Yeah.
Your freedom to have that opinion.
Yeah.
And so, like I say, in Bhakti, everything's included. All the good things are included if you just follow it. And by the chanting and by the, following, the process, you want to follow it more, and the resistance to not follow it is taken away, because that's contamination. That's just pollution that is gradually removed. And now, I want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And the more we hear what the right thing is, then, now I know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or not to do.
And so many people don't know what to do with their lives, and they just feel completely out of place. Hey, we can, here you go. We can tell you, or the yoga wisdom can tell you what to do with your life.
What should I do with my life?
Yeah, yeah. I just had it's a sad story, but a friend of mine from Trondheim, I knew him. He used to live with me, and but he was always a bit strange, to a large degree, I think, due to the fact that he didn't feel like he fit in, and he didn't know what to do with his life, essentially. And now I had one other friend, like a common friend, write me, and she told me, because I saw on the feed that he left this world. He left his body some time ago, and we prayed for him. This is only a couple of weeks ago, and then I got a message from a common friend, and she said that he had jumped in front of the train.
Jumped in front of a train. Wow.
Because he felt that he had no place in this world.
Yeah.
So
the fruit of the progress is bitter.
It is. That's the reality. Like,
if and people are so resistant to doing the right thing, to any semblance of decency, people rebel against it. But look at the fruit of what you're getting now. And it's just getting worse and worse. So you got to be blind to think, well, this is okay to do it, or this is a good direction to go in, or,
Well, I guess most people don't think that much about it. They just go with the flow.
Oh, yeah, most people don't think about it. But all these protests against laws or movements to do the right thing shows there are a lot of people that do think about it.
Yeah.
And it's strong enough that they'll come out and protest against it.
That's true.
And just make a big movement against the right thing.
Against the right thing.
Yeah. No, that's...
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
That's not allowed to do the right thing.
Is it better to be like, what's that word in English? Likgiltig, like when you don't care about it, when you just like have no opinion, no position at all. What's that word? Like apathetic? No.
Apathetic.
Apathetic.
Apathetic. You just don't care.
Is it better to be that, or to be negative towards the truth? I don't know.
Well, I think it's better to be apathetic, because you're not going to fight against the truth. If you're apathetic. You don't care. Do this, do that. But you're not out there on the street, and you're not out recruiting people to get them to join your movement against the good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the apathetic person would be more easy to convince than the person who's totally against it. Maybe they just don't want to get involved, or they don't care, but they would be more likely to, if they heard the truth, and so on, to become a person who has this position, a position for the good and against the non-good.
Just like in my case, I was against a lot of truth, against a lot of what I now see as good things before in my life, really actively, because I had this like desire in my heart, burning desire to do good, and so for me that was when I met these teachings, I was gradually able to turn that, the desire and the motion was there, the movement was there, but then I could turn it in a good direction, actually good direction, away from the thinking that I was doing good and actually not doing good. direction.
Well, yeah, I guess it could go both ways.
Yeah.
There's some good in some things.
Exactly. So,
I mean, in the Bible, we have the story of Saul. You know that
Saul?
S-A-U-L, Saul.
No.
And he was so against the Christians. I mean, he was this is after Jesus left. And he was so against the Christian. He was one of the persecutors. I mean, he was really active. But then on his way to, I forget, Jerusalem or somewhere, he got kind of like struck down by lightning. In other words, a beam of, I don't remember exactly the details, but it was actually lightning or a beam of light or something, just knocked him to the ground. I mean, he's just down. And then the voice from heaven came and said, Saul, why do thou persecute me? You know, and he just like, wow. And it changed him completely. And then he became Paul.
Oh.
Before he was S-A-U-L, now he's P-A-U-L, Paul. And he became the strongest proponent for Christianity.
Wow.
Where he was crucified. I mean, he was, so against them. And now he became a great supporter of and stalwart Christian himself, and did a lot of preaching work, did a lot of things to spread Jesus' message. So that kind of the category, he was so against, and then he became so the opposite, so pro.
Is there a common, I'm just thinking about him and I'm thinking about me, is there a common factor that can turn a person from that condition to promoting the Christianity and being,
well,
actually doing
did you
good?
get struck down by lightning?
I was actually, when I was in Malaysia, when I was 16 or so, 17, I was with my mom in Malaysia, and on a remote island. We went there with a fishing boat because we were there before when I was a bit younger, and there used to be ordinary boats going there, like tourist boats. So this was a tourist island, but now it had turned into like this just completely remote island because they discovered that there are like bugs in the sand, biting people. So all the tourists went. There were no longer any tourists there. So it's kind of like desolate. But I wanted to meet Sue. And she was, the name of a lady who was living there when I came there when I was younger, like 5 years before or something. Maybe 10 years. She was playing with me. And so I remembered her. But anyway, at this place, I remember I was in the middle of the most terrible lightning storm, like right there. You could see it coming from far, like the whole sky was clear, and this dark, small little like line was appearing on the horizon. It just came closer and closer and closer, and it, like, the lightning hit a tree which was right close to me, and I could feel. At that time, I was more accepting Christianity. I was following that path of Christianity, and I could really feel. That felt like the presence of the devil was there when that tree started. So maybe that's what turned me as well.
Maybe.
But it was powerful. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like the power of nature. And I was feeling so small. I guess that's maybe like what the good thing was, that I realized how small I am and how, wow, there's really something greater than me, whether it be nature, God, what you can relate to, but we're small and we need help.
Yeah, and it can be subtle. I mean, that may have made a subtle change,
I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
I think so.
So I don't know if it's a common thing, but there's something, and it can be various things that kind of wake a person up, change them.
Yeah.
Make them look in a different way.
Yeah.
What's that saying? God works in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. So he may work in one way with you and one way with me and one way with Tusta. But he gets the job done.
Yeah. He does. He always gets the job done.
He always gets the
trust
job.
That.
Yeah.
It's like, if you want to be happy, if you want your will to be done, and if you want to be happy, the only way to do that is to make it so that your will is the will of God, because His will is always done. So then your will always be done because you want what He wants.
Yeah.
So you'll always be happy. Because
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a process.
Yeah.
So a person just need to understand there's a better way to live than what we're living now in general. And even if we're living, according to Bhakti, we can do better. Say I'm following Bhakti yoga and I'm doing a lot of things that I'm supposed to do. I can always do better.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe maybe the external activity is quite good, but I can do better inside.
Yeah.
The attitude, the feeling, the sincerity, the devotion. There's always a lot of room for improvement there.
That is true. And I will be at a much better place if I focus on that rather than like focusing on where I am and how good I am compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
And I look at everyone else and see the faults and the problems that they have, and I put myself at, but I'm so much better. I am doing it.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
This was a varied podcast today. This will be difficult to title.
A better life.
A better life.
Or life's truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, saying what I have experienced to be correct. And it's hard to overestimate the value of a proper foundation upbringing. I mean, because people have had terrible upbringings that become amazing, spiritual personalities. But, if you've got that foundation, that, like I said, makes it easy,
It's true. And it's very inspiring for me to see kids like him that really just such a nice attitude and, having had that correct upbringing.
Yeah. And respect. I mean, you cannot underestimate or undervalue respect. It's almost like the most important point.
Yeah.
Respect. Yeah. So, okay. So maybe we'll have a little chant.
I mean, can you fit it under the microphone?
Huh?
Can you fit it under the microphone?
I'll see.
And in between there.
Huh?
And in between there.
Yeah.
That's
a little bit of okay.
Oh.
Haribo, Nitai Gor, Nitai Gor, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gor.
Haribo, Nitai Gor, Nitai Gor, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gor.
Haribo, Nitai Gor, Nitai Gor, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, oh, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Gauranga, Haribo, Gauranga, Haribo, Gauranga, Haribo.
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 Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribol, Haribol, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribol, Haribol, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur.
Haribol,
I'm chanting.
Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribol, Haribol, Nitai Gaur.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribol, Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribol.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribol, Nitai
Oh,
Gaur,
Nitai Gaur, yeah.
Nitai Gaur,
Oh, Nitai Gaur.
Haribol,
Oh,
Haribol,
Haribo.
Nitai
Oh,
Gaur,
Nitai Gaur, yeah.
Nitai Gaur, Haribol,
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribol, Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribol.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribol.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribol.
Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo.
Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribol.
Gauranga, Haribo.
Goranga Haribo.
Goranga Haribo.
Goranga Haribo.
Haribo Goranga. Haribo Goranga. Haribo Goranga.
Haribo. Haribo Goranga. Haribo Goranga.
Haribo Goranga. Haribo Goranga. Haribo Goranga. Haribo Goranga.
Haribo Goranga. Haribo Goranga. Haribo Goranga. Haribo Goranga.
Haribo Goranga. Goranga. Haribo.
Haribo Goranga. Goranga. Haribo.
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 Okay, so yeah, thank you very much again for another podcast. We have a little creature
Oh.
here.
Haribo.
Show him to the camera. A little living entity in a worm body,
Oh.
just making his way. See, he's no bigger or littler than we are. Same. Just a different body.
That's cute.
Checking it out.
Yeah. Finding his way through this world, like you say, try to.
Yeah, try to understand that every form of life is a person like we are. They just have different bodies and different lifestyles. But he can receive benefit from the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Bo, Hare Bo. Yeah.
Sometimes when I see small like people like him, I have a tendency to like chant the mantra really loud to them or like shout the mantra to them. That's what I was gonna like. Their ears are so small, so they maybe like I see like Haribol. Shock therapy.
Bhaktivedanta Swami said, when you chant the trees, you got to chant really loud.
He said so.
He said he got right down by the ground and he was chanting really loud. He said, because they don't hear very well.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, thanks for joining us for the podcast.
And thank you, Balakhilya. Thank you,
Thank
Tusta.
you, Ruben.
A lot for the help.
Thanks, Tusta, for the help. Oleg came up for the chanting right at
you,
the
Oleg.
end. So, yeah, very good.
The birds are chanting in their language, with their tongue.
This what?
The birds are chanting with their tongue.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay. Oh,
Okay, so we'll see you next time.
we will. Thank you. Haribol.
Haribol.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.